Township Manager, and in typical fashion, I'm going to just give a brief summary of tonight's meeting before we begin, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home. First action of note on the agenda tonight is David Pavlik taking the loyalty oath as administered by Chairman Henry to become a Lingelstown Fire Police Officer. Then, jumping into new business, we have only two non-recurring action items. Action on an engagement letter, with the Township's auditing firm Brown, Schultz, Sheridan, and Fritz, approving the performance of a single audit of federal funds, and also a consideration of Resolution 21-02, which designates the Chief Administrative Officer of the Township's pension plans. Next, the board will take action on improvement guarantees before heading into the payment of Township and Authority bills. Lastly, the chair will call for any final announcements before seeking a motion of adjournment. And at this point, all the members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gottschall. I'd like to call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors to order. I'd like everyone to please stand, and Supervisor Navarro will lead us in the pledge to the flag. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we will proceed to the administration of the Fire Police Loyalty Oath. And usually we stand together to do that, but under the current circumstances, we're not going to do that. But if you would like, you turn your microphone on. Tell us a little bit about yourself first. Yes, you can take that off to speak into the mic. Otherwise, you sound muffled.
Born and raised in the township. My father was an employee of the township back in the 70s. Migrated a few times away from Harrisburg, but came back.
Is that on? Technical difficulties, as they say.
No, it was underneath.
Again, I'm a lifetime resident of Lower Paxton Township, born and raised Lingelstown on Mountain Road, right in front of the elementary school I grew up. My father built a house in 1953. Again, he was employed at the township as highway superintendent for a number of years in the 70s. And I guess as my older age, I felt to give back something to the township, so the opportunity came and I volunteered.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your willingness to serve. So at this point, we'll administer the oath to you. Just repeat after me. I, David Pavlik.
I, David Pavlik.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support, obey, and defend.
That I will support, obey, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And that I will discharge the duties.
And I will discharge the duties.
Of Fire Police Officer.
Of Fire Police Officer.
For Lower Paxton Township.
For Lower Paxton Township.
With fidelity.
With fidelity.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the force. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And at some point, we'll have something to sign here, I'm sure, correct? Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your willingness to serve. With that, we should move to the approval of the minutes. And this would be from the meetings of October 20th, 2020, November 4th, 2020, and November 4th, both budget and business meeting on November 4th, 2020. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of 10/20, 2020, 11/4, 2020, 11/4, 2020, business meeting, budget meeting, and business meeting.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This is a time set aside for public comment. Before we do public comment, the Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session prior to this meeting and will be meeting following this meeting to discuss a number of legal issues. That having been said, public comment time is set aside for items not on the agenda tonight. If you're here to discuss an item on the agenda, we'll have public comment at that time. So would anybody like to address the board on an item not on the agenda this evening? Yes, please come up to the podium and give us your name and address.
Hello, my name is Ashley Pollard. I live at 4925 Colorado Avenue. We had been here a few times last year and wrote some letters and emails, and Mr. Gutschall has been very helpful in helping us understand the process. But we've been speaking about, let me just put my earring in.
Uh-oh.
Fell out with the mask.
I'm gathering masks and earrings don't go well together.
I don't, I'm learning.
Okay.
About making the keeping of hens and honeybees more accessible, and changing the ordinances as such to make the yard sizes more reflective of the yard sizes in our community. After speaking with Mr. Gutschall about where the board was currently at about needing to show community support, we did create a petition online, and just wanted to share that within 24 hours after sharing in only 3 neighborhood social media groups, we had more than 250 signatures. As of just a second ago, we're up to 546 signatures. So we have a lot of people reaching out to us individually to want to support this, to want to understand what the next steps are. Would love to understand, one, your concerns with changing the ordinances to make the keeping of hens and bees more accessible. So I'd love to follow up with you individually via email to understand what those concerns are, and also understand next steps in terms of getting this on the agenda for overarching community conversation. We've also been in touch with a few people who had to get rid of their honeybees because they didn't have a yard that was big enough. And they had been in touch with the Pennsylvania State Beekeepers Association, who supplied some model ordinances for smaller yard sizes. So I'd also like to share those. So I'll follow up with that. But yeah, we'd just love to understand next steps. And is the next step meeting individually? And if so, that's great. Just looking to understand the process.
Well, if you would share that model ordinance, this would be an appropriate item, I think, to put on a workshop agenda for a discussion. I know some concerns have been raised, so that might be an appropriate time to discuss the concerns that have been raised about changing lot sizes for bees and chickens. Rather than get into it now without a model ordinance or anything in front of us. So why don't you please keep in contact with Mr. Gotschall, and we will schedule that for a workshop discussion. Our process is the first meeting of each month is a business meeting, where we do official actions. We then use the second meeting of the month as a workshop that's a little more relaxed. And that's where we take time to, if something new is being brought to the board, we take time to discuss it before things are formally initiated. Or if somebody's bringing a proposal to us, it's our opportunity to ask questions.
Got it.
So that's the function of the workshop. So that's where we would have this discussion. Then, of course, the third meeting of the month is also a business meeting.
Okay.
So our next step would be to have a discussion at a workshop meeting.
Okay. Okay, great. I'll follow up with you then, Mr. Gutschall.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here. Would anybody else like to address the board on an item not on the agenda this evening? Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you very much. This time set aside for chairman and board member comments. Board members, do we have any comments? Mrs. Lindsay? No? No? Okay. Manager's report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I only have one item this evening. So as you all may have noticed, we did receive some winter-related precipitation lately, this causing a slight delay for our trash and recycling hauler waste management. Collection was suspended yesterday, which is Monday, and today due to the weather. Customers with a Monday pickup will not be serviced this week at all, pushing their collection till next week. And resuming with normal collection next week. And those with collection routes on Tuesday through Friday of this week will be operating under a one-day postponement. So just for those who have yet to get into their trash route, just be aware of that and plan accordingly. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to express our appreciation to residents too. I know that there was a lot of snow and it came down over many days. I guess there was 2 back-to-back storms and the whole event lasted 3 days, which is very unusual. And of course, did put quite a stress on the road department. So our appreciation to all of our employees who worked very, very long hours over those 3 days. And it took some time to get to everything because of the not only the length of the storm, but the amount of snow that came down in it. So we appreciate people who were patient and the diligence of our employees in keeping at it. Hopefully by now, everybody's been plowed out. So, okay. Thank you for the manager's report. That will take us to old business, of which there is none. Under new business, we need to take action approving an engagement letter with Brown, Schultz, Sheridan, and Fritz for the single audit of certain funds. Mr. Gottschall, would you like to explain the necessity for this?
Yes, sir. So when receiving more than $750,000 during a fiscal year, municipalities are subject to the requirements of a single audit, which separately accounts for these specific federal monies. In 2020, the township, of course, received over $2 million in CARES Act funding, for which we were very grateful, from the federal government via Dauphin County. That, in addition to a few other smaller federal disbursements, including some for the replacement of bridges and things like that, obviously put us over the single audit requirement threshold of, again, $750,000. Therefore, BSSF, our auditors, have put together this engagement letter to perform the additional required audit, the cost of which would not exceed $13,000. BSSF has confirmed that if our staff is prepared and can provide them with the necessary information in a timely fashion, that this cost estimate is most likely too high. So we hope to get them all the important information as quickly as possible so that can stick to that concept. And with all that said, the engagement letter just needs a board action to approve that, and we'll get it signed and sent over to them.
Board members, any questions?
We're going to be prepared, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good. Any public question or comment? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the action approving the engagement letter with Brown, Schultz, Sheridan, and Fritz for the single audit of certain funds as presented by Mr. Gottschall.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Under new business, item 10B, we had to take action on resolution 21-02, this designating a chief administrative officer of the township pension funds. Mr. Gottschall.
Yes, board members, with the departure of our former chief administrative officer, Alicia Knoll, our previous finance manager, the township now needs to appoint a new chief administrative officer of the pension funds. This position submits plan paperwork, reports, and performs any other administrative action necessary in the administration of the non-uniformed pension and police pension funds in accordance with the Municipal Pension Plan Funding Standard and Recovery Act. The solicitor has reviewed Resolution 21-02, and it stands ready for board action this evening.
Pretty straightforward. Any comments, questions? Any public comment or question? All in favor of approving the appointment of Tim Houck as the new chief administrator for the pension fund? Somebody want to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 21-02 designating Timothy J. Houck as the Chief Administrator Office of the Township Pension Funds.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
That now takes us to subdivision and land development, of which there are no plans. However, we have two improvement guarantees, both of which appear to be routine. Any questions? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the improvement guarantees for Grove Road property, Union Deposit Road, and Memorial Eye Institute.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
This brings us to payment of bills for Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the payment of bills for Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any announcements now? Mr. Stein, I hope you don't feel left out of the action this evening. We didn't have to call upon you at all.
That's always fine with me.
That's always fine? Okay. Our next board meeting will be a workshop meeting, as referenced earlier. This will be 1 week from tonight, Tuesday, February 9th, 2021, at 7 p.m. in this room. There being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So-
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.